Let me teleport you into my village, a Maasai women village. Just as you arrive, Grandma Joyce Mamai shares a story. You see, for a woman sat under a tree, you observe the way the birds make their nests, and then you ask yourself, if a bird can use its beak to make a home, why can't I with both hands? And that is how the first huts came to be built, by a woman observing the bird and imitating the meticulous process of intertwining twigs, cow dung, and cow urine to make a home. Biomimicry. Although Grandma's story tells a story of a tradition, it inspires me to imagine a world where I can work with whatever is available in my resources as someone coming from my area. As an artist, I wonder, how can I use art and technology to preserve these stories, this wisdom? Today, I will offer you my own ideas of how reimagination can be used as a potent mechanism for cultural preservation, ensuring that our cultures remain vibrant and alive for generations to come. I come from the Maasai community. We are originally nomadic pastoralists who moved from one area to another with large herds of cattle. In fact, a lot of places are named by the Maasai, including Nairobi, which comes from the phrase Enkare Nairobi, which means cool waters. And my hometown, Nanyuki, comes from the phrase Enkare Nanyuiki, which means red waters. The cow is of celestial importance to my people. We believe that God gave us cows directly from heaven, and everything revolves around the cattle, satisfying all our basic needs: food, clothing, shelter, the meat, the blood, the milk we drink that nourishes us is from the cattle. Our huts made, we have these homesteads, they're called enkang. And enkang is a circular enclosure, and in the circular enclosure are the huts. It's made of a thorny fence. And right at the heart of the enkang is where the livestock is kept, protected. Everything we make revolves around the livestock, from the huts that we live in, which is made from cow dung. And actually, the huts are able to ensure that during the heat of the day, we are cool in the huts, and at night, it's pretty warm because of the materials used. And as well as the clothes, the sandals, the shoes that we make are all from the cow hide. And in beading, the surface that's used for beading, this surface is actually made from the cow hide. And traditionally, the ligaments, the cow ligaments were used to make the string used for beading. And so everything really revolves around the cow. In the past, the Maasai clothes were obtained from animal hide, but once the colonizers came, we changed our materials and opted for wool and cotton. These days, also, most of the shuka, we call this shuka, as you can see, most of it is now gotten from, let's say, Dar es Salaam or China. And this is actually what is used to identify the Maasai now. In the past, also, the beads that we were using came from collected materials, so seeds, cowrie shells, bones, twigs, anything from the environment. But after trading with the Europeans, especially the Italians and from Czech Republic, we now obtain these colorful glass beads that are now our identity as Maasais. And these colors are really of great importance to my culture because of what they symbolize. So the blue is the color of the sky, giving us water in the form of rain. Green is the nature, land, vegetation. Yellow is the sun, giving us life. Orange is for hospitality, being together, friendship. Black is the color of the people. The color red holds great symbolic significance to my people. In the African continent, red ochre has been used as a form of paint for over 200,000 years. It's been used as body marks for warriors and for women especially, and also to dye leather garments. So red ochre has been a color that also is symbolic to my community because we believe that when you're grazing out there, the red actually helps camouflage you and protects you from the wildlife. And this red is also significant because it represents the unity of the people, bravery, strength, courage. Certain objects are of great significance to my people. The calabash, for example, is significant both culturally and also functionally. We put our milk and blood in the calabash. It's a symbol of wealth and prosperity, as well as a symbol of spiritual nourishment. We believe that the calabash provides good luck and prosperity to my community. My people also are great medicine men and medicine women. We believe in nature's gifts of life. So we gather our medicines and spirituality through nature. And that's a big part of my culture. This knowledge is indigenous and it's passed on orally from one generation to the next. Now, as I reflect on these traditions, I recognize that identity is a key part of being human. Identity allows us to connect not only with ourselves, but with the world around us. It ensures we explore ourselves fully and wholesomely. However, this knowledge has been weakened over time due to the effects of climate change, colonialism, modernization. Colonialism in particular has tarnished our identity, making us believe that we're not good enough, bringing something foreign and weakening our collective consciousness. Now the question is, how do we preserve this identity, this innate feeling, this innate need as a human being of identity? In my journey to reconnect with my roots, I led a team of 13 female creatives to my village, Twala Tenebo Women village, in Ilpolei, Laikipia. Our mission was to document the stories of these women in the best way we could, using information directly from them. Twala Tenebo is a cooperative of over 200 women who live together and sustain themselves through permaculture, beekeeping, aloe vera, making beads, and also ecotourism. Amazing women, brilliant, who really welcomed us and gave us their whole love as a team. We wanted to find out about their way of life, the beading, the ceremonies, their conversations, their history, their hearts, the relationship with their land, the people, and the continuity. Twala Tenebo is a group of women who are truly inspiring. The way they live with the land, the way they work with the cycles of life is truly something we found absolutely important to learn from. Their way of life is in synchrony with nature's gifts. The women of Twala Tenebo lead a successful matriarchal system in a patriarchal society, showing us that our cultures have survived for a long time due to the strength and resilience of indigenous women who, unfortunately, don't receive enough credit or support until to date. We captured their stories in different ways. So we had a series of video interviews to document their stories, photography pieces. We also did 3D scans of everything, the surroundings, the objects. We collected sounds from the environment, and we also transformed these pieces into a VR experience where the audience can have a truly immersive experience within this village. Their stories are truly magical, truly essential to ensure continuity, to learn from for our future. Art is an ancient language that we use to communicate within ourselves and into the future. It represents the feminine energy in all of us. In the past, our grandparents would sit around the bonfire and tell stories of the divinities, the fables, the hares, the monsters, you name it, in order to preserve our values and to ensure this continuity of our culture. Likewise, we wanted to imitate this notion, and so we created a story, a reimagined story, inspired by these women, inspired by their stories and the values we got from this community. And this was made alive by 3 female characters who represent, 1, Enkoiboni, who is a seer, the leader. 2, Enkayukoni, who is a divine healer, and Esiankiki, who is a warrior. I'm truly honored to have worked with a team of absolutely brilliant creatives who brought this vision to light. Our costume designer, Jessica Olago, made these magnificent costumes inspired by these stories that link our past, present, and future. Enkoiboni. The Enkoiboni is a seer. She's an oracle. She is the leader of her people. She's entrusted by her people with their most valuable assets, the cow. And that's why her costume is inspired by the cow symbology, the horns of a cow. And she wears this large corset dress that signifies her authority. She's sharp, she's pragmatic, she's reliable, she's strong. The Enkayukoni, she's a divine healer. She comes from a great lineage of medicine women who've learned to work with the earth and learned the secrets of the universe through a belief in oneself and a connection with nature. Then Kayukoni brings to light the values that are inspired by our traditional way of life that seeks to find the answers through nature. Her costume is inspired by loads of circles. This signifies her approachability, her softness, and also the makings of a mad scientist. She's amazing. She will tell you all the secrets of the universe. The Esiankiki, our 3rd character, she's a warrior. She is a warrior. So in Maasai tradition, Esiankiki actually means a young unmarried woman. And in Maasai traditions, between the ages of around 14 to 30, young men are called ilmurans. They go into the bushes and they work with the bushland, they learn the secrets of the earth, they develop resilience, strength during their time there. And Esiankiki was our own reimagination of a female ilmuran, a female warrior. She's strong. She never backs down from a fight. No matter how hard you try to push her, she will not back down from a fight. And she is also adorned with loads of beads to signify abundance and to celebrate her femininity. Now, those were the 3 characters we reimagined. Cultural evolution is a natural process. It's something we cannot escape. Reimagination brings to light these values, inspired by our working with what we have in our environments right now, preserving this tradition and ensuring that this remains living for generations to come. Of course, reimagination comes with its own set of challenges. It requires us to be open-minded, to be adaptable, to actually step out of our comfort zones. But really, the advantages that reimagination brings far outweigh the challenges. It requires us to think outside of our box. And what does this mean for us today? Imagine a world where the media you consume through TikToks, YouTube, Instagram, movies, is actually inspired and full of richness of our cultures. Imagine a universe where the old and the new merge and actually work with our ever-changing dynamic universe today. Wouldn't every child grow up proud and knowledgeable of where they come from? And what ripple effect will this have to their children and the next generation coming up? Let us embrace reimagination, not as a departure from tradition, but as an evolution of it. Together, let's reimagine the future that's inspired by the treasures of our traditions. By doing this, we're not only regaining ourselves, we're regaining our power. Now, the question that I'm going to ask you is, what can you learn from your traditions? How can you recreate this knowledge for your future? Thank you.